We need to expand our thinking about artificial food colors beyond immediate hyperactivity. The most commonly discussed effect, kids bouncing off walls after consuming dyed snacks, represents just one potential impact on developing brains. Emerging research suggests we should be asking harder questions about long-term neurodevelopmental implications. Longitudinal studies tracking children over years have started finding associations that deserve serious attention. We're seeing correlations between dietary synthetic dye exposure and outcomes like learning difficulties, sleep disruptions, and mood regulation problems. These are preliminary findings, and causation hasn't been definitively established, but the consistency of associations across multiple cohorts is concerning. Animal models provide mechanistic insights that make biological plausibility stronger. Studies in rodents show that chronic exposure to synthetic dyes affects neurotransmitter systems, particularly dopamine and norepinephrine pathways that are crucial for attention, motivation, and emotional regulation. Brain tissue analysis reveals inflammatory markers and subtle cellular changes in regions associated with behavioral control. Neurodevelopmental researchers I've consulted with emphasize the precautionary principle here. The developing brain is exquisitely vulnerable to environmental insults. Disruptions during critical periods of neural development can have effects that persist long after exposure ends. We're talking about potential impacts on learning capacity, emotional resilience, and cognitive function, outcomes that affect life trajectories. What makes this particularly urgent is the timing of exposure. Children consume the highest amounts of synthetic dyes during early childhood, precisely when neural circuits for attention, learning, and emotional regulation are forming. If these additives disrupt normal development even modestly, the cumulative effects over childhood could be substantial. The honest scientific assessment is that we need more research. We need larger longitudinal studies with better dietary tracking. We need neuroimaging studies examining brain development in children with high versus low dye exposure. We need better understanding of individual susceptibility factors. But while we wait for definitive answers, we're continuing to expose millions of children daily to additives that serve no purpose beyond making junk food more marketable. The precautionary approach, supported by many pediatric neurologists, would be limiting children's exposure to synthetic dyes now, before we have complete mechanistic understanding. We don't need absolute proof of harm to exercise caution with developing brains, particularly when the additives in question have no benefit. The early warning signs are there. The question is whether we'll heed them or wait for more definitive damage before acting.